It's hard to believe that the Brown family, once paraded on TV as a symbol of plural marriage harmony, has now become a cautionary tale that feels too tragic to even process. What started as a promise of unity and spiritual love has unraveled into deep divisions, painful betrayals, and one of the most public emotional collapses we've ever witnessed on reality TV. Cody Brown, once the proud patriarch standing at the center of 4 wives and 18 children, is now left clinging to a version of reality that few around him can still recognize. The family has shattered, publicly, painfully, and with consequences that none of us saw coming. Hey friends, this is Oliva, and welcome back to TLC's Sister Wives Secret. If you followed this journey like I have from the very beginning, you know how emotionally invested so many of us have become in this family. So please make sure to subscribe, like this video, and drop your thoughts in the comments. I truly want to hear what you feel about all of this, because what we're witnessing now, it's not just reality TV drama, it's something deeper, something darker. At the heart of the chaos is Cody, once the confident, fast-talking leader of his household. He's now spiraling in ways that feel alarming and impossible to ignore. Fans who once sympathized with his struggles are now watching him unravel on screen, cutting off his children, speaking with bitterness, and leaning harder than ever into his idea of control. And then there's the disturbing speculation that has everyone holding their breath. His increasingly intense attachment to Aurora, Robyn's daughter, which has left many viewers uncomfortable and deeply unsettled. Robyn, once considered Cody's favorite, is no longer smiling through her carefully chosen words. There's a new sadness behind her eyes. The dynamic has shifted, and it's not just the public seeing it, it's visible in every interaction on screen. From therapy sessions to awkward family meetings, we're witnessing not just the breakdown of a marriage, but the emotional suffocation of everyone left standing around the edges. This isn't just a story of heartbreak. It's a story of control, of loss, of emotional devastation happening in front of millions. And today we're digging into every painful piece of it. Stay with me. Cody Brown used to walk into a room like he owned it. In the early seasons of Sister Wives, he was confident, borderline arrogant at times, but still managed to keep the whole plural family orbiting around him. He called himself the leader, the protector, the one who heard from God and made the hard calls. But now, watching him on screen, it's heartbreaking. He's not the same man, and maybe that's the problem. Because what we're seeing now is not just a man grieving or struggling, it's a man so consumed by the need to be in control that he's lost the very family he claimed to protect. The turning point didn't come out of nowhere. It happened gradually. First, Christine left, then Janelle started pulling away, and Meri, well, she had emotionally left years ago. But it was Cody's response to that loss, to not being obeyed or deferred to anymore, that cracked everything wide open. Instead of reflection or humility, Cody doubled down. He leaned into his belief that he was the only one being spiritually obedient. He even said at one point that God was punishing the family for not following him. That's not spiritual leadership, that's ego. And then came the most devastating blow, Garrison's death, a tragedy no parent should ever endure. But instead of using that heartbreak as a bridge to his estranged children, Cody retreated even deeper into isolation. In recent episodes, he's either missing from family gatherings or shows up angry, cold, and defensive. You can feel it in his body language. He sits with his arms crossed, his voice tight, as if every word spoken by someone else is a threat to his authority. There was one particular episode after Garrison's passing that hit hard. Janelle was openly grieving, her pain raw and visible. But Cody, he didn't cry, he didn't comfort. He focused instead on blame, on how Garrison had distanced himself, on how he felt unsafe. That's when it became painfully clear. Cody wasn't mourning the loss of his son the way you'd expect. He was mourning the loss of control he never got back after the pandemic ripped the family dynamics apart. Control, that's the word that keeps echoing through every scene. Cody wants it, needs it, and the more he loses it, the tighter he tries to hold on. Even when it means isolating himself from his own children. Even when it means standing across from Janelle or Christine and making everything about loyalty instead of love. This isn't the Cody we met in season 1. That man had problems, sure, but he wasn't cold, he wasn't this detached. What we're seeing now is someone who's spiraling. someone clinging to a version of spiritual authority that no longer serves the family, or even himself, and the fallout, it's tearing everyone apart. When it comes to the Brown family's unraveling, there's one person whose presence has raised quiet alarms. Aurora, Robyn's daughter from a previous relationship, later adopted by Cody, Aurora used to be a soft-spoken, kind-hearted girl who mostly stayed out of the spotlight. But in the last few seasons, her role has quietly shifted, and while she still isn't front and center in every episode, what little we have seen has left a lot of viewers deeply unsettled. Her silence is loud. The way she clings to Robyn, her reluctance to speak up around the other wives, the visible anxiety she seems to carry, it hasn't gone unnoticed. Fans who followed the show closely remember Aurora having panic attacks on camera. Robyn mentioned them more than once. But what struck people most was how little space Aurora was ever given to process things on her own terms. Instead, she often appeared as someone absorbing all the emotional pressure that was building up around her. In more recent episodes, Cody has become increasingly fixated on protecting Aurora, almost to the point of obsession. He speaks about her safety, her loyalty, her faith. There's even been talk from him about spiritual connections, how he feels divinely bonded to her, how she's one of the few who still respects him. But viewers didn't feel comforted by those statements. They felt something else: concern, confusion, discomfort. Because rather than focusing on healing the wounds between himself and his biological children, Cody's emotional energy seems laser-focused on Aurora. And that emotional imbalance has become hard to ignore. What's even more telling is Aurora's near-complete withdrawal from social media. She used to be semi-active, occasionally posting family updates, but over the past year, she's gone totally silent. No updates, no engagement, nothing. And for a girl in her early 20s, that digital silence has become one of the loudest warning signs. Fans across Reddit, Facebook, and TikTok have started asking the same thing: is Aurora okay? We may not have all the answers, but what we do have are real moments on screen, in interviews, in what's not being said, that point to a young woman caught in a deeply confusing, emotionally heavy situation. And for many viewers, that's not just uncomfortable to watch, it's heartbreaking. Robyn Brown used to be the so-called favorite wife, the one who always seemed to have Cody's ear, his time, his loyalty. For years, fans saw the imbalance, how Robyn and her kids got special treatment while the other wives were left navigating crumbs. And Robyn knew it too. She would sometimes tear up and say she never wanted to be the reason the family broke apart. But now, that title of favorite feels less like a crown and more like a curse. Because Robyn is no longer in control of anything, not Cody, not her home, and definitely not the family's future. In the most recent seasons, we're seeing a different Robyn. The sparkle's gone. Her once soft but confident presence has faded into someone who looks lost, exhausted, and constantly bracing for impact. There was a scene during a family therapy session where Robyn just sat quietly, visibly holding back tears as Cody ranted and blamed everyone else. Her eyes didn't move. Her mouth was tight. And in that moment, it was painfully clear: Robyn wasn't the puppet master people once accused her of being. She was trapped too. She's tried to get help. In a few emotional conversations, Robyn has mentioned reaching out to church leaders, trying to find a path forward, trying to keep the spiritual family together. But even those efforts have been dismissed by Cody, who seems less interested in religious guidance and more interested in enforcing his own authority. The spiritual leader who once guided the family has, in many ways, become a solo act, and Robyn's attempts to pull him back into reality just aren't working. One of the most shocking scenes came when Robyn admitted she didn't recognize the man Cody had become. She said it straight: she felt like her husband was a stranger. Her voice cracked, her hands were shaking, and it wasn't performative. It was a woman realizing that the partner she aligned herself with, above all the other wives, is now spiraling, angry, bitter, and unreachable. Robyn may have started out as the wife who won, but it's clear now, there are no winners here. Only broken promises, broken trust, and a woman watching the life she thought she built fall apart right in front of her. If there's one thing this entire collapse has made absolutely clear, it's that these women, Christine, Janelle, and Meri, were never truly broken. They were just buried under years of emotional weight, spiritual guilt, and the constant pressure to keep a family system running that was never designed to nurture them equally. And now, one by one, they're reclaiming their lives, on their own terms. Let's start with Christine. Her exit was bold, brave, and long overdue. After years of trying to please Cody, of asking for scraps of attention, and being told love should be earned, she finally said no more. And the moment she made that decision, viewers felt it in their chests. This wasn't a woman walking away in bitterness. It was a woman walking toward herself. She packed up, left Flagstaff, and didn't look back. And what did she find on the other side? A new life, a new home, and yes, new love. Her relationship with David Woolley was the plot twist none of us saw coming, and yet it made perfect sense. Christine, who spent years being dismissed and belittled, found someone who laughs with her, holds her hand in public, and doesn't make her beg to be seen. Their social media posts aren't just cute, they're healing. For her, and honestly for viewers who watched her suffer in silence for way too long, from being the third wife, with no say in finances or property, to dancing on TikTok with her new fiancé, Christine's story has become one of the most powerful transformations we've ever seen on reality TV. Then there's Janelle, the quiet strength. She never made a dramatic scene, she didn't storm out or shout in therapy, but when she walked away, you felt the shift. Janelle, the woman who spent decades making logical decisions, putting the kids first, defending Cody even when she didn't agree, finally chose peace. Real peace. She said, "I'm not going to spend the rest of my life being controlled and emotionally ignored," and just like that, she was out. Her breaking point came after years of subtle disrespect, from the land disputes where she was told her contributions didn't matter, to the way Cody treated her sons, especially Garrison and Gabe. Janelle quietly reached her limit, and she didn't need a new man or a big romantic reveal to reclaim her power. She just needed to breathe again. Now she's rebuilding from the ground up, reconnecting with her kids, and finding joy in her independence. You can see it in her eyes. She may have walked away alone, but she didn't walk away empty. And then there's Meri, oh Meri, the one who held on the longest, the one who kept waiting for the man who emotionally left her behind years ago. Her journey has been the most painful to watch, because it started with public betrayal, the catfishing scandal that exposed how lonely she truly was. She spent years trying to earn her place back, even after Cody clearly said there was no more romantic connection, and still, she stayed. Until she didn't. Something shifted in Meri recently. She stopped waiting, stopped hoping for crumbs, and started choosing herself. She's launching new business ventures, traveling, and posting messages of self-worth and resilience. And yes, there have been whispers of new love on the horizon. Whether it's true or not, doesn't even matter. What matters is that Meri has stopped chasing the past. She's started creating a future that actually includes her. When you look back at the moments, Christine being shut out of decision-making, Janelle being dismissed about the land, Meri begging for emotional connection, you see a pattern. These women were not weak. They were conditioned to survive in a system that minimized their needs. And now, outside of that system, they're blooming. Not perfectly, not all at once, but beautifully. They're not victims anymore. They're authors of their own stories. And in a way, they're showing all of us what it looks like to walk away from emotional control, from religious guilt, from toxic loyalty, and toward peace, love, and power. If you've spent even 5 minutes scrolling through Reddit, TikTok, or Facebook lately, you know the reaction to all of this has been explosive. Fans aren't just watching anymore, they're speaking out. There are entire subreddits dedicated to dissecting Cody's behavior, analyzing ROBYN'S choices, and supporting Christine, Janelle, and Meri like sisters in a collective healing circle. People are signing petitions, calling for TLC to either end the show or restructure it entirely around the ex-wives. The hashtags, they're everywhere. #Justice for the kids, #Team Christine, #Protect Aurora. It's loud, and it's emotional, but underneath all the drama and memes, there's something much deeper happening. This show has turned into a mirror, a reflection of what emotional abuse looks like. Not always physical, not always loud, but in the way someone controls a conversation, rewrites reality, or punishes others for having needs. People who've never even heard of polygamy are watching this and saying, "That's what I went through." It's triggering, it's validating, and it's opening up massive conversations about religious control, power dynamics, and what it actually takes to walk away from manipulation. And as Oliva, just speaking from my heart here, this season wrecked me emotionally. Watching Garrison's death hang like a shadow, seeing Janelle's heartbreak, Meri's grief, and even Robyn's fear, it's too much to just call it reality TV. These are real people, real families, and it's hard to know where the line is between storytelling and suffering. I've cried watching these women take their power back, and I've yelled at the screen watching Cody spiral further into his own delusions, so I want to hear from you. What did you feel watching all of this unfold? Do you think the show should continue? How do we protect kids like Aurora, who are clearly caught in the middle? Let's talk in the comments. Be respectful, be honest, but don't hold back, because this isn't just about the Browns, it's about how we recognize emotional harm, how we support survivors, and how we keep these conversations alive. Sometimes, watching Sister Wives doesn't even feel like watching a show anymore. It feels like witnessing the slow, painful unraveling of something that once tried so hard to look whole. What started as a story about unity, faith, and plural marriage has turned into a raw, emotional record of heartbreak, betrayal, and survival. We've seen the cracks form, the walls collapse, and the people inside either run for safety or cling to the rubble. And now, we're left asking, where do we go from here? The upcoming season, if it continues, will likely dig even deeper into the aftermath. There are still unanswered questions. Will TLC address the public concern over Cody's behavior and the growing discomfort around his relationship with Aurora? Will Robyn finally speak honestly about her own regrets and losses? Will Meri find lasting peace? Will Janelle and Christine keep thriving? And more than anything, will there ever be real accountability? Because while these episodes were filmed months ago, the impact is still fresh, for the people involved, and for us, the viewers. It's hard not to carry that weight too. This show is no longer about plural marriage, it's about emotional survival. It's about what happens when control, ego, and spiritual manipulation are allowed to fester for too long. But even in all this pain, I still believe in healing. I believe Christine's laughter is real. I believe Janelle's peace is earned. I believe Meri's growth is still unfolding. And I believe that even broken families can in time find some form of peace, if not together, then at least within themselves. So if this story has moved you in any way, if it's made you think, reflect, or even grieve, please share your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one, and I know many of you come here to process your own emotions through these stories. And if you're new here, welcome to TLC's Sister Wives Secret. I'm Oliva, and this space is about truth, healing, and never turning away from what's hard to watch. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a like if it spoke to you, and let's keep this community honest, kind, and strong.